Okay, this is how to make the pencil holder assembly in Onshape. You can find the drawing in Classroom. There's dozens of different ways to make this. I'll show you a technique that I think works really well. First, we have to draw all of the parts, and we could draw them in individual documents, or we could draw them all on the same documents as separate parts. So this is probably the easiest, to draw them all on one. And when we think about this, you should study the drawing so you get an idea of what it's about. But here's a pretty slick way of doing this. We could really just do one extrusion. And our parts I'm going to kind of replicate here is the material that you're going to get to make the parts. So I really only need to do half of the part. There's 7 parts total to make the pencil holder, but there's also only 4 separate ones, or 4 types. So I'm just going to make this a big kind of 10 inches. And there's more 2-inch parts than there are 2.5-inch parts. So you're going to get a piece of wood that's a certain length, 2 inches wide. And then you're also going to get, I guess I could do this with a rectangle tool, a smaller piece of wood that is 2 1/4 inches wide. Okay, so here, just as if these were pieces of wood, you are going to need to lay out your parts. And again, you'll have to study the drawing or follow this video. So my first part is going to be the 2-inch sides, and they are 3.5 inches tall. And then we also have, the middle, which is going to have a notch in it, and that middle is the size is 3 3/8 inches tall. So I can just do the 3 space 3/8, and it won't do the calculations for me. Which is, will do the calculation for me? Yes. Oh, that's not right. So I'll just tell you the number, 3.375 inches tall. And one more, which is the bottom of the box. I need a little more space here, so I'll just move this one down a little bit. And dimension this. So the bottom is 2 by 2. The middle, which we're going to have to do a little more work on, is that dimension. And then we have another side that is going to be the same as this side. And 2 by 2. So I only had to add the width dimensions twice, and then the height of each part. Now again, there's going to be 2 of this part, 2 of this part, 2 of this part, and only 1 of this part. But for an Onshape, we only need to make 1 of each, because we can just bring it into our assembly twice. One more thing I need to do, and I think this is the easiest way to do it on this, is to make a center line from center to center. And then I'm going to draw I think I am going to try to do it this way first. A center rectangle, something like this. And then I have to dimension that number. And for this sake, we can make it 1.8. It needs to be a little bit more than halfway. And simply, we could do this as well. If we split this in half, we could see that it's a little more than halfway, or if it's exactly half, that works also, but it's a little trickier. And this is 1/8. So let's try the math. 1/8, enter. There, that is correct. That's a decimal equivalent of 1/8 of an inch, 0.125. Now, I just need to trim this little bit down here. Scissor tool, trim, and trim. All right. So those are the 4 individual pieces. Again, I'll have 2 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and 1 of these. And now I can extrude them all at the same time, 0.125. Then 0.125 is 1/8 of an inch, and we're using 1/8 of an inch wood to make this. There are my 4 parts. Now I can go to the assembly. And you'll see here, once assembly opens up, I can insert these parts. Now let's start with the bottom, which in this case is part 4. Click it out there. That is square. Oh, that's not part 4. The bottom is this one's the bottom. It doesn't matter that we didn't do it in order. We can move them. Okay, I'll just start with 2. Let me actually bring out part 1 also. So it's unclicking and then clicking again. Okay, we'll just start with these. And now I need to mate. In the assembly, we have these different mate options. And I'm going to use planar mate. I'm going to choose this plane. You need to really focus on this little guy in the middle. Okay? And because I don't want to accidentally have it on the wrong plane or at an intersection like that. I want it to be on this plane. So I click. Oops, I did that twice. And now I want this plane to click. What we just did was attach the bottom. I'm going to move this. And that surface, I have to admit I did it wrong, so I'm going to delete this right over here. And I really want this surface touching this surface. So we'll try that again, planar mate. This surface and this surface. Where did it go? There it is there. And that looks right. So that's the bottom of the pencil holder, and this is the 2-inch side. and they're on the same plane, but they're not touching. So now we can do another mate. This time we can do a planar mate. We could make all of this with planar mates, really. We have this side and this side. Check mark. Let's see what's happening there. And we need one more mate there. We need this face and this face, because you can see the bottom lines up and the side lines up, but not this edge and this edge. Planar mate. Really, you will want to spend a little time playing with the different mates. And it kind of disappeared for a second until I hit check mark, because it's somewhere else. It moved up here, but it'll go back. Oh. All right. That took me 3 mates to get this side on here. And now those are locked in place. Okay. Now this one, let me try a different mate. Let's try the fasten mate. I'm going to make that point right here mate with this point right here. And that did it, but it isn't rotated the proper way. And I kind of locked it in place there, so I don't want that. Delete. If you just click on the part, this one's not connected. It is. If you click on the part, it pulls up this dialog where you can rotate one way or the other. You kind of need to know which way you're going. I really wanted to rotate that way. Close. And now let's try that again. We'll do a planar mate first. Zoom way in, make sure you get the right plane, and it'll show it in the blue. And this plane, check mark, and it fixed itself. Now that's touching that plane, so now we could just do a clear this selection, this point, and that point. I think. Well, let's do a planar mate. Like I said, we can do all of this with planar mates, meaning the planes line up. So this plane, and let's make sure we get the right one. That plane, check mark. And here is our pencil holder coming together. We have to add another one of these, another one of these in the middle. Insert. Click. Click. Make sure you get them in the right location. See, this piece is a little bit larger because it overlaps, and you can see how this is going to fit in here. And this is how you're going to build this out of wood. So let's do another planar mate. Check mark. It should slide, even though they're. Oops, looks like I needed another mate on that other one too. So now we can make this plane and this plane, check mark, and sure to get the right side, this plane and this plane, check mark. Okay, now those are locked in. You can see we can add the last 2-inch side by going insert 4, and look at the color. That's what we need. Click. I can rotate that by clicking on it and grabbing this guy here. And just get it close. Now we're going to layer mate this face. Select that face and any of these faces, but we want to make sure we get the face. This check mark. Let's see. Still have another mate to go over there. When you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. As we're making this assembly, check mark. Another thing here, I could have told you this earlier, we can fix one of these, and probably the bottom would be the one to fix. If I right click, I can fix it. Now this thing, the only thing that's going to slide is the one part. And I have to add mates to make it fully constrained. Layer mate, this mate, and this mate. Okay, now if I try to move anything, I still have one more to go. This mate and this mate. Check mark. And then I will let you try to figure out how to add this part and that part again. They have to be, oops, I hit the wrong in. This part, click, click, click. Check mark. And again, just to show you, we could rotate this around to can help us get it in the right configuration. There, and then you can add some mates. I would mate these two together and then drop them in there, and that's how we're gonna have our part. Good luck.